Hello, fellow pirates. Welcome back to Dreadlock Gaming. So, I've had some questions on my Discord about manufactories and defenses, about whether or not to take them to level 10 because of difficulty of defending them. I personally do not see any difference in defending, say, a level 5 or a level 10 manufactory. I have several builds that are ideal for manufactory defense, and I'm going to go over them, all of them, today in this video. And I will explain why they are good for defenses. One will be a sloop. Actually, two will be a sloop build that you can also put either one of them on the Padewakang. The Sambuk has a good build that is great for defense. And the Brig has a build that is very good for defense. And I'll explain all of them. Let's get down to it. Now, my favorite is the Sloop. And the reason that I love the Sloop for defenses, and I have it set up in my PvP setup, and I run it for defenses just like it is. My apologies, I can't talk today. That happens quite often. Brain mouth doesn't work. But the reason the Sloop is great for defenses is outburst. Explosive hits have a 50% chance to trigger an explosion that deals 1,500 damage within a blast radius of 150 meters. Increases damage to structures by 40%. That doesn't matter. Explosive damage by 15%. So, explosive weapons are increased by 15%. That's an all-around thing. And you have the explosion. You have a chain reaction that can happen with outburst. Plus, you have ruin, which increases or decreases anything that's attacking you's damage by 10%. And you have the heavy arsenal. All of your broadside, meaning your port and starboard weapons, their damage is increased by 50%. That's one reason why I love the Sloop for defenses. Now, in the past, I did a fire bombard build that you could use PvP, PvE. That's a great build. Now let's go over what you can use. I use Dardanelles all the way around. Some people don't like the Dardanelles because they are not forgiving whenever it comes to aiming. They are an all or nothing weapon. You shoot all of them from whatever side you're shooting from, and if you miss, you miss. If you hit, you hit for a lot. My time playing, I've gotten very good with Bombard, so I'm good with the Dardanelles. You could put Fire Bombard 3s all the way around, is what I would suggest. And your auxiliary weapon, you could go with Warhammer. I wouldn't suggest the Infernal Maw because it does not have explosive. But you could go with Leopold 3 if you wanted to, because it has explosive, and it's still a good auxiliary. But I use the Warhammer just because I like it. Now, with the armor, since I'm running in the PvP form, I would suggest using the Buccaneer's Oath if you're running in PvE build. Furniture, if you're running in PvP, if you want to keep it in a PvP build, stay with the rigging station. If you want to put it in a PvE build, the megaphone for your reload speed. And I would suggest Bombard Minosaur because of the damage, extra damage. Bombard works for the 19% extra explosive and fire. Then you have your defensive, the Spirit Locker screens. If you are going PvE, then I would say, change the leather fashioning station out for, where is it? Shell packing station. It gives you more area of effect radius, and it reduces your reload time, so you have faster reload. And that's what I would suggest. You could do that with Dardanelles or fire bombards. This exact same build you could put on a Padewakang. It has very similar perks whenever it comes to ship perks. Where is mine? There it is. Now, I constantly have my Padewakang built in my Fort Buster build. Now, let's look at the perks on that. Detonate. Explosive hits have a 70% chance to trigger an explosion which deals 1,000 damage within 125-meter blast radius. If target ships is ablaze, an additional explosion will trigger at 100% chance per explosive hit, increasing damage to structures by 50% and weapon damage radius by 12%. So you have that chain reaction chance as well. And whenever you are at half sails or anchored, your reload time is reduced. So on the Padewakang, you would have an even more increased reload time. So either one of them would be great for defense in the build that I just mentioned. Another ship that is phenomenal for defenses is a fire bombard Sambuk. And the reason is you get the Scorched, deals 5,000 burning damage. When you apply the ablaze effect to an enemy ship, ablaze effect applied to enemies in a radius of 150 meters. So anytime you set a ship on fire, anything that's in 150 meters also gets set afire. And you increase the ablaze damage, or 50% increased damage whenever a ship is ablaze. Plus you get firebug, so your fire weapons have a 25% faster reload. Now, if I were to build this one for defense, I would do fire bombards all the way around. Let me pull up that ship. I have it built for close quarters, but I would do fire bombards all the way around. And the reason I would do fire bombards, I don't know if I even have any fire bombards. Let's see. I don't think I do. Yeah, I do. The reason I would do fire bombards is because they have the explosive 2 perk, and they burn. So you get well, it's the burning. You get the burn, which builds up the ablaze, which will chain react the ablaze effect to other ships that are in the vicinity of the ship that you set ablaze. And for the auxiliary, I would use the Warhammer. Now, the armor, I would use the Buccaneer's Oath, because whenever you kill a ship, you get the 25% increased armor and 25% increased damage. As far as furniture goes, I would probably still do something similar to what I have here. If you're building it purely for defense and you're not worried about crew attacks, you could do the megaphone for even more reload speed. I would do Bombard Minosaur, Bombard Works. I would still keep the gunpowder bench for the extra damage when they're ablaze. the volatile fuel to build up the ablaze effect faster. And for the last furniture, I would probably do something that's a little defensive. Let's see, is there anything else? Well, I mean, I might do the shell packing station for the extra AoE damage. From the bombards. So you would have maximum damage output, maximum area of effect, maximum ablaze, so that anything that you set ablaze would just chain react and set other ships ablaze. Okay? Now, another one that I like and I use sometimes is the Brig. And I would use it exactly in this build that I have set up on it, which is fire bombards all the way around and the Infernal Maw. And the reason I like this one, and I would do Buccaneer's Oath, the reason I like this one is because you can throw out buoys on one side of your defense where ships are coming in, and you yourself can use the weapons on your ship to defend other areas if they're coming in from more than one location. And the furnitures I would use on this are exactly what I have here. The buoy locker, so that I can throw out more than one buoy, so that it increases the health of the buoy so they last longer, and so that it reduces the reload time of them. Bombardment of Sewer, 10% more bombard damage. Bombard Works, 19% more secondary damage. The Machinist Station Mines, so that they have a 15% more damage and a 10% larger minefield. The auxiliary or maintained arsenal, so that the buoys have 10% more damage. And yes, it does increase their damage. It's not just for rockets and for mortars. It does work with buoys as well. And then I would have the gunpowder bench, so that any ship that is ablaze has 10% increased damage. So you would do 10% more damage to any ship that's ablaze. And if you blow the buoy up, it sets anything in the buoys or in the minefield, it sets it ablaze automatically. This ship can take big chunks of damage out of enemies. Because and the reason for that is, if you look at the Infernal Maw, the Incinerate, deploying a buoy erupts a fiery explosion when destroyed. Or deployed buoys erupts in fiery explosion when destroyed, dealing 300% damage and instantly causing targets to be set ablaze. So, if you destroy a buoy whenever ships are inside the minefield, it does significant damage. It will instantly kill ships. It will take big chunks out of bosses, especially if you have 3 buoys that go off at once. So, the main thing with the Infernal Maw buoys, if you want to do maximum damage, blow the buoy up. But they do a lot of damage if you just let ships that are coming in on defense roll through the minefield. It will take level 10, 11, 12 ships out as they roll through the minefield, depending on how you set up the buoys. Those are, in my opinion, the best defense builds there are whenever it comes to defending your manufactories. I don't feel like there is any reason to not take your manufactories to level 10, because the defenses, from my experience, are not any harder between level 5 and level 10. Plus, you want to rack up as many pieces of 8 as you can throughout the season, so that you can buy materials, buy legacy caches, and buy other things to save for next season. With the ability to carry over things from this season to next season, like chests, it leaves you with that ability to, everything that was in the black market last season, I can get from these chests that I just brought from last season into the new season. Plus, you can build up on supplies like all of your woods, your ores, your cloths, for the possibility of needing them for new things that are coming out in the following season. Doing defenses gives you gilded raiders caches. Those can be saved, carried over to the next season for some pieces of 8 and for the possibility of getting leases. I mean, I have every place maxed out, level 10, and I have yet to have a problem with a defense. Now, if you're newer to the game and whatnot, some defenses can be hard, but if you're a veteran player and you have any of those ships that I mentioned, the Sloop, the Padewakang, the Sambuk, or the Brig, easy defense with those builds. Very easy. The only defense that I've lost is one that I wasn't there to defend because I either got distracted in the game, or I didn't notice it and logged out. And that's last season and this season. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching Dreadlock Gaming. Keep an eye out for more Skull and Bones videos coming soon. Hit that like and subscribe, and do leave a comment. I appreciate them. I like responding to them, and they help the algorithm. Also, come and join me on my Discord. We've got a good community here. It's getting bigger by the day. Lots of friendly people, lots of helpful people, lots of very knowledgeable people whenever it comes to the game. And remember, never give up the ship.